The first deposit we visited in Botswana is the Phoenix Nickel deposit, and the ore body is hosted in gabbro, which included the tonalite gneissic basement. Major sulfide minerals are penlandite, chalcopyrite, and pyrrhotite, and later mafic dikes, which intruded the sequence, upgraded the ore and remobilized sulfide on the wall rock. We went to the lookout to get an overview of the geology, and the group went down to the pit to see the actual sulfide mineralization, the mafic dikes, and associated shear zones.
Here we are at the Phoenix mine. It's a nickel mine run by Tardy Nickel. It's owned by Norilsk, the Russian nickel mining company. We've got our bus now to go down into the pit, and we're just going to get our PPE gear.
The altered amphibolite, basically it's the altered amphibolite. So we'll have a look through that. We probably also will have a look at some of the felsic decks that I've spoken about and see some of the variations that we saw there. We definitely will see some of the major faults that I spoke about yesterday, the nature of such major faults. Yesterday, when we were talking, I mentioned that the school of thought is that this thing is placed on a north-south major lineament. We'll have a look at that. There are other major lineaments which are not north-south, which intersect, which obviously will keep your interest to say the mode of emplacement. What is the other structures which are not parallel, north-south, have to do with the emplacement of this thing? From the picture that I showed you yesterday, I just left it there. I didn't want to go into detail with that. From the picture that I showed you yesterday, you'd see that this thing actually is plunging from the south to the north at a very shallow angle. And it is truncated by faults. I wouldn't call it a horse graben structure, but you do get a feeling that the north-south fault does cut some of the northwest trending major faults. And you'd see that as you go further to the north, the faulting sort of takes it deeper and deeper, more especially around some of the major northwest trending structures. That explains what I'm saying is that you've got a general low plunge to the north of this thing. It's actually deep into that. But where you've got some of these things cross-cutting it, you suddenly get the deepening of the footwall and further deepening of the footwall. And that's what we've observed so far. Did these northwest structures have any influence in the placement of this thing? It's an answer which a student, an MSc student, can come and answer for us, or a PhD student can answer for us. I've got a very, very busy map of one of the level plans that I'll be talking to as we go along in that regard. The sulfides will be going into the pit. We'll stop somewhere where we'll try and observe the styles of mineralization. Unfortunately, we will not see all the styles of mineralization, but what you will see is that we've got disseminations, we've got stringers, and we've got veining. The veining can be, like I said, from a tiny few millimeters, which is almost what I call a stringers, to quite thick, which now is very, very economic that we mine some of those things. Okay, so from here, we'll go into the pit. Driver Robert. We'll be going into the eastern viewpoint, if you can follow me. We'll be going into the eastern viewpoint. Then we'll go into the middle, the in-pit viewpoint, then the northern viewpoint, and then we'll go into the Cut 8 and Cut 8 area. And look at that area.
Here we are at the pit, Phoenix. Having a look down. Fairly sizable pit where we mine nickel sulfides and brass within a large depot body.
This is Phoenix pit. It's accuracy like this. This little area that you see here is that face, the entrance face. Yeah, and that face there at the back is that face at the back here. And we're currently standing somewhere there. And all these major felsic dikes that you see here are actually exposed. One is exposed there, where there's that little plane that's sleeping. That's actually the contact, and actually comes through here, and actually goes out that side. It actually punches through here, in this area, this side here. That is this system here, and this system here. And this one here is exposed on the other side of the pit, that side, on the other side of the pit, that side. We'll actually. So what I want to do, I want us to go into this ramp here. We'll observe some of these major faults that you see here. Actually, you can even spot some of them here. If you see, I don't know if mine that's to some degree, and in front of that, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. So some of these major faults are cross-cutting like that, but we'll stop and see them. And the north-south one is responsible for all this wet patch that you see in here. The north-south major structure that is cuts across here. So for just get your orientation around here before you look at the ore, we'll stop here and then we'll go into the pit. We'll go in. Like I said, my belief is that it is in its original position, but the northwest trending systems or faults, if they are anything to do with it, what we see is that when we are modeling, anytime they cut this plunge, they deepen it, going further that way. So I would say it's pretty much in its position, safe for the downfaulting where we can observe it. But another question is that these measure the northwestern ones, are they also feeders? Were they also feeders as the school of thought that the north-south is also a feeder? These countries that are maybe calling either the background or and right across the corner here on the side of this extreme, in this cut, right across, see here, see from the top there, you can really see it. You can come and see it. Here. And the style of mineralization, like I was explaining, first and foremost, if you had taken close look at the gabbro at the top, you'll definitely notice the difference with this one immediately. This one is more finer grained. It's mostly the mafic minerals, amphibole pyroxenes, amphiboles and pyroxenes. And the style of mineralization here, like I said, you almost get that the rock is stretching out to the sulfides. And you've got the sulfides disseminations and blebs, and you've got veins draining. You've got veins and stringers. Yep. Yeah. This is blebby mineralization, but you do get. Actually, this is interesting because there's a big dike here. This is normally what you get when you remobilize on the edges of the dike. In the blebby, it's the blebby style. It's on the edge of the dike. No, you do get the blebby on the metagabbro itself as well. But this is mostly what you get when you remobilize on the edge of the dike. There's the dike, there's a big dike, huge dike coming through here, and we're sitting on the edge of it's actually running through here.
Do you know how far the remobilization goes into the wall?
Like 10 meters is
10 meters
done, but not done and dusted.
Because it's the same thing in uranium. These dikes, they upgrade uranium as they pass through, like even if it's only a small amount.
Yeah.
It'll upgrade.
It just yes.
Right next to the dike.
By 10 meters is done and dusted.
Yeah.
Finished. Yeah. All right, you can just wander around here.